Good evening, Kenton community. My name is Sabatino Samato. I am your superintendent, and this is your weekly connection update. Folks, today a few items to go through on the weekly connection. First, we're going to focus on coming back next week. I want to really inform the community what we have done and together what we can expect over the next week and actually a few weeks. I want to close off with that instructional component with some very important reminders, and then we're going to get to our recognition for this week. So let's get going. First, we are on our way. We know that this upcoming week, this Monday, April 26th, we are beginning with our elementary level, our K through 4 students. Our in-person students will be here 5 days a week. I'm so excited to say it. Our teachers are excited, our administrators are excited, and I know our families are excited. So coming back, folks, it hasn't been easy. It definitely hasn't been easy on families. Our schools, though, have really done a tremendous job really working together to make sure that we're ready for this comeback. An example. We have spent the last week and a half, our B&G, our Buildings and Grounds Department, have worked overtime from sun up to sundown and even past beyond, really getting the schools ready with desks, making sure that we're ready to accept all the students back at one time. Our teachers, our administrators, our school staff, they've had meetings with our individual school communities during the week. This past week, I know our secondary classrooms, our secondary buildings, I should say, are going to have meetings even coming up in the future weeks, but our elementary have really kicked it into an additional gear to get ready. Now, folks, a big question has come up. So this is really exciting about elementary. We're still concerned, why not secondary? Just to reiterate, our secondary schools, our middle schools and our high schools are not cohorted. That means that students do not typically stay together all day. And in the new guidance from New York State, as well as from our what we know about that guidance and the requirements, that we would have to be cohorted in order to come back because Erie County is still considered in a red cautioned zone area with our number of cases per 100,000 in our population. So we talked about this a lot last week. I just wanted to reiterate that doesn't mean that we aren't hopeful that there will be changes. We are still hopeful that there will be changes. But at this time, our secondary is still only on a hybrid level. But I want to reiterate, our secondary students are receiving 4 days of synchronous instruction. The 2 days that they're there in person, and then they log on to the class. Not many districts have that type of model for their secondary students. In Kenton, our teachers, our administrators have done that from the beginning. It also complicates Wednesdays. To have that benefit all year, our Wednesdays have focused on office hours, some targeted intervention, because a lot of planning and coordination goes into having those classrooms being able to provide, we're familiar with synchronous instruction. That's really live. Okay, we're talking about simultaneous instruction, providing instruction to at-home students and providing instruction to students in front of them at the same time. Folks, I'm very proud of our teachers and all the work that they've done. I'm very proud of our elementary teachers and the work that they have done to prepare and what they're going to be doing this week coming up. But just to really capture all of that, that's what we've done. Our schools are safe. Speaking about safe schools, another topic that has come up and we talked about last week, but I want to reiterate in this update today, those barriers will be coming down in all the classrooms. I made sure to incorporate that, and I know that our schools have shared that with all of our families. There's a key difference in this new guidance. Not only does it say that the barriers aren't required, it actually recommends not to use barriers. So in my mind, as I read that guidance as your superintendent, there's a big difference between not required and not recommended. Not required to me says, well, you can do it, but you don't have to do it. Not recommended is actually advising us to not use them. And that guidance says not recommended. That's one of those proactive things that families can expect. And I know it probably is something dealing with circulation and air circulation in the room, as well as not to do anything in those classrooms that actually add to the transmission of the coronavirus. So those barriers are coming down. We are being proactive with everything, and the way that we can ask our families to continue to be proactive. Folks, in the morning, please make sure that you're really doing every morning those things to check your child's temperature, go through the attestation and attest to the fact that your children are indeed, they fall within the realm of they don't have a fever, they don't have any symptoms. We cannot. That's one of those non-negotiables that we need families to help us with. We cannot send students to school sick, even the question of them being sick during this time, especially at that elementary level, because we are going to only be 3 feet apart in the classrooms. Speaking of 3 feet apart, it brings us to our contact tracing. We know that contact tracing still remains at 6 feet. So just like we went through last week in our informational sessions, we can prepare that in the event of a positive case in class, that there may be more students around that positive case that would have to be quarantined. Because if we're only 3 feet apart and contact tracing is 6 feet apart, that's what they're looking for, then we know that there will be more students, unfortunately, that are quarantined. But here's the good news. Rates are coming down. The data is showing that rates are coming down. We know that schools are safe because they're some of the most consistent spaces for following protocols and procedures. And we follow that second to none, in my opinion, but to the nth degree here in Kenton. Schools have really, through their meetings with parents, have really gone over some of these hiccups, anything from breakfast and lunch to pick up and drop off times. So I know that has been a key, and it will be a key to our success moving forward. Folks, we are excited, but we can't let our excitement get in the way of making sure that we're following our protocols and procedures in the buildings. So please really stay in tune with that. And where I'm going to end with this is making sure that we have some reminders today. First of all, meal kits. Families of students who are now attending school 5 days a week will no longer be provided with meal kits, since their children will be able to eat breakfast and lunch 5 days a week in our schools. Any students who are not returning to 5 days of instruction, including all VLA and 5 through 12 students, will need to complete the electronic form at ktufsd.org/meal kits to sign up for meal kit pickup. Now that procedure is a little bit different, because now we will have students who are in person all 5 days and students who are not. So our procedure has to differentiate who is actually able to pick up meal kits from this point forward. We spoke about that last week. That's the procedure, signing up online and following that website that is shown right here on the screen. Technology. This is another huge reminder. Grades K through 2, please make sure that all devices, including charging accessories, come back to school on Wednesday, April 28th. Student devices will remain in the classroom for use during instruction for the duration of the school year, and devices will not be coming home on a nightly basis after that Wednesday in the K through 2 grades. So folks, our K through 2 parents, Wednesday is a huge day to make sure that we're getting those devices in. Our grades 3 and 4 families, students must bring their devices, including charging devices, also this Wednesday, April 28th, because those third and fourth grade students will receive new Chromebooks. Students must bring their devices to and from school on a daily basis as part of their instructional program from this Wednesday forward in grades 3 and 4 only. And then we're talking about the elementary level right now. So really, Wednesday is a big day coming up for our elementary schools with technology. Grade K through 2 VLA students, please keep their current devices at home. But grades 3 and 4 VLA students, new Chromebooks, there's actually a sign-up. Details regarding the distribution and the sign-up have already been sent to those VLA families. If you didn't receive the link, you could see the link right there. It's also in the printed version of our weekly connection. So please make sure, folks, I need you to really pay close attention to this technology reminder. It's a big week for technology at the elementary level. So please, Wednesday is a huge day. Make sure that we're following that process and procedure moving forward. Transportation, just another reminder that buses will remain the same. Bus stops will remain the same for each day of in-person instruction. If any family needs to make a change or rescind their alternate stop application, they must notify the transportation department by completing a new alternate stop application. You could find this at ktufsd.org/transportation. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are all of the reviews for today. We are on our way. We are on our way. I can't reiterate enough. We don't know yet if changes will happen for secondary for the rest of this school year. We're hopeful as more time goes on, it becomes less and less probable, just being fully transparent, but we are hopeful. And I know our schools are constantly refining those Wednesdays and looking at what they could do at the secondary level for Wednesdays. But I also shared with you some of the complexities that go into our secondary model and the importance of Wednesdays. A big question to finish off with, what's happening in the fall? We have not been provided that guidance yet. I do not want to get ahead of that guidance and say that what my gut is telling me, but I know that we are moving in the right direction. We can do this together by continuing to see those rates come down. So all of our community, all of our society, to be honest with you, will play a big part in how this continues to progress. We know that because it's played a huge part in our progression during this pandemic. So let's really put on put our best foot forward in doing whatever we can do to continue to bring down our rates. I'm so proud of the Kenton community. You should be proud of yourselves, family, our families, our schools. Thank you for all of your dedication. We'll finish this week with a thank you to administrative professionals. We always have our recognition for the week, and this week it's our administrative professionals within the school district. This past Wednesday was Administrative Professionals Day, and this week we recognize these dedicated professionals who play an integral role in every aspect of school and district operations. At the school level, the administrative professionals in our school offices keep the buildings running like clockwork. They support all of the work taking place in the schools, including classroom instruction, academic support, counseling, breakfast, lunch, health, safety, arrival, dismissal, and this list goes on and on and on. They're doing everything. They are constantly interacting with parents and guardians and providing excellent customer service to meet the needs of our families. At the district level, our administrative professionals ensure that our schools and departments have everything they need to serve the students, staff, and families of our district. That's because that's what our central office does, support the schools, and these people do a great job at it. These central office staff can really help carry out the vital work of every department in a multitude of areas. We thank our administrative professionals for everything they do to ensure that our students are provided with the very best educational experience while meeting our fiduciary responsibility and ensuring that all laws, regulations, and policies are followed. Everything that takes place in our schools and classrooms on a daily basis depends on your work and your hard work and dedication. Thank you for all that you do every day, all day. Thank you for reviewing this information, folks. This really is a turn point for us. It really is a key in coming out of this pandemic. Now, I'm going to tell you again, my feeling is that we will absolutely still have some hurdles together. But the key to that is together. We know what's in front of us. We know that we're not clearly out of the woods yet, but we are coming. We can see that light, and we're trying to finish this race strongly and do whatever we can together. We want to reiterate that together we can do this because we're Kenton proud. Together we will be Kenton strong, and together we will move forward as we come out of this pandemic. Thank you very much for all of your dedication. A special thank you to all of our elementary schools this week. What an excellent job that you've done, and our elementary families. Have a great weekend, folks.